Hey, hi guys. In this session, we will understand what is Maven and why we use Maven, why we create Maven project. So first of all, we will understand what is Maven. So Maven is an open source build automation and project management tool. Open source means you don't need to pay for license. It is free of cost, and project management tool means it manage the project, right? I will show you when we will create a Maven project. It automates the source code compilation and dependency management. I will explain you how it manage the dependency and source code compilation when we will create a project. So in the next session I will show you how to create Maven project, but in this session I will explain you theoretically, right? So once I'll create a project, then I will explain you how to manage dependency and this source code compilation, right? Now we can understand why we use Maven project, right? So there are several reasons to use a Maven project, like dependency management, build automation, project structuring, plugin ecosystem, centralized repository, lifecycle management, dependency scope, and transcript dependency resolution. So these are the reasons we use Maven project, right? So dependency management. What is the dependency management? So see, earlier what we were doing, we were creating Java project and then we were downloading the third party jar files like Selenium, right? Suppose that you have created one Java project, right? If you want to add Selenium, if you want to work on Selenium, then you will have to go to the third party website, that is Selenium, and from there you had to download jar files and import in Java project, right? This is how we were doing, right? And if you want TestNG, Cucumber, Apache POI database, right? So if you want to work on different tools, then you will have to go on their website and you need to download the jar files and import in your Java project, right? So these are the manual process, right? These are the like if you have created Java project, then you have to download all the jar files and you need to import it manually, right? So it's a lengthy process, right? So if you need different tool, then you will have to visit on different website and you need to download manually and you need to import manually into the Java project. But in Maven project you don't need to do manually, right? Automatically it will download all the dependencies from one remote repository website, right? I will show you. You can search on Google MVN repository. This is the website. This is the remote repository you can call. And in this website, in MVN repository website, you can get it all the third party jar files. So whatever the jar files you require, you can find out here only, right? So there are two major problem. One is to download the jar files manually, right? By using this Maven project, you don't need to download manually. It will automatically download. And to update the version, let's suppose that you have already added the jar files, right? In future, maybe Selenium version got changed, right? It got updated. Then what you will have to do? Again, you will have to download the latest version of Selenium and then you will have to remove the existing jar files and you need to import it again, right? So this is the manual process. So there are two major problem. One is download the jar files manually and second one is updation of the version, right? So these two problem we can solve through Maven project. And third thing is this is a build tool, so it will build your project, right? So there are so many reason why we use, there are so many advantages to use Maven project. So we will understand one by one all of them, right? So now we can understand what is dependency management, right? So as soon as you create a Maven project, like I already have created a Maven project, in next session I will show you how to create Maven project, but here I already have created Maven project. So you can see, if you are creating Java project, then you can see the symbol J only, right? But if you are creating Maven project, then you will be able to see small m here on the project. You can see small m and J. J means we are using Java language, and M means Maven project, right? So whenever you will create Maven project, you will be able to see this M, small m symbol here. So this project I already have created, but in upcoming session, in the next session, I will show you how to create Maven project. So see, so as soon as you create a Maven project, right, it provides you folder structure. This is a folder structure, right? Proper folder structure it provides, and it also create pom.xml. So once you will open this pom.xml, you can see this is a plugin, and this is a dependencies I have added here, right? So you can see dependencies tag here. Dependencies tag, this is a open tag, dependencies closing tag. So within these dependencies, you can add any of the dependency, right? Whatever the tool you want, you can add the dependency. Like you need Selenium, you need TestNG, Cucumber, Apache POI, database, whatever the tool you want, you can just add the dependency. Likewise, I have added the dependency for Playwright. Playwright is one of the tool, like just like Selenium, right? So this is also tool for testing. So I have added the dependency for Playwright. So likewise, you can add the dependency for Selenium as well. How we can add? So if you want to add any jar files on ambient repository site, you can go and here only search Selenium. So whatever the jar files you needed, you can search it here. As I have searched here Selenium, so you can see Selenium, we got it. You can click on this Selenium Java. So you can see all the versions available here, right? So this 4.15 is the latest Selenium version. You can click on it. Now you can see this is a jar file, right? You can just click on it. It will automatically copy, and you can come and inside these dependencies, you can paste it somewhere here. See. So dependencies is nothing, it's just a group ID, artifact ID, and version. This is a group ID, this is a artifact ID, and this is the version of Selenium, right? So group ID is a portal name, portal, and this is the name of tool, and this is the version of tool, right? So as soon as you save this jar file, like you can control plus S, it will start downloading the jar file. See, it got downloaded. So when you save this dependency, it automatically download the jar files. But for that you need internet connection, as I have internet connection, right? So if you connect it with the internet, then only it will download dependency, right? Jar files. So when you create Maven project, by default it create one folder, that is .m2 folder in your C drive. I will show you. You will have to go in C drive, and then you need to go into users folder, and see, this is the user name. So this is the user, and you can see .m2 folder, right? So as soon as you create a Maven project, it will create this .m2 folder. So what is this .m2 folder? This is called central repository. Central repository, or you can call local repository. So in interview, mostly they ask what is central repository, or some people ask what is local repository. So central repository and local repository both are the same, and that is nothing, just only .m2 folder. Means when you create a Maven project, by default it will create .m2 folder, and this m2 folder is called local repository. So whatever the dependency you are adding here, right? So once you will save it, it will connect to this remote repository. This is a remote repository, right? So it will download it from here, and it will store in your local repository. Means it is storing in .m2 folder. See, this is a repository, and whatever the jar files, whatever the dependency I have added there, those are downloaded here only, right? So as I have added Selenium jar files, right? So Selenium, you can see the website here, org.selenium, right? org. So it create one folder with the name of org. You can go inside it and you can see Selenium HQ, right? So all the jar files been added here only, right? So these are the jar files, right? Whatever the dependency, you will add it here, and once you save it, it will directly connect to this remote repository, and it will download it from here and store in this local repository, which is M2 folder, right? This M2 folder is called local repository, or you can call central repository. This is a major point, right? Mostly interviewer ask what is local repository, what is central repository, right? So you can explain them. When we create a Maven project, by default it creates .m2 folder, and when we add the dependency, then it connect to the remote repository, and it download the jar files from there and store in local repository, or you can say central repository, right? So I hope you understood this dependency management, right? And for updation, let's suppose that in future your Selenium version got changed, right? It got updated. Maybe in future it got 4.16, right? Then what you need to do? You don't need to download manually. You just need to change the version here, 16, and you can save it. As soon as you save, it will connect to the remote repository, and it will automatically download, and it will automatically remove the existing jar files, and it will update the latest one. So you don't need to do anything, you just need to update the version here, right? So this is quite simple. So we understood dependency management, right? Build automation. What is build automation? So build automation is the process of compiling source code, running test, and packaging the application, right? So this is the build automation. When we will create a project and start working on Maven project, then you will understand, right? I will explain you at that time. Project structuring. Project structuring, yes, when you create a Maven project, it provides folder structure, right? Project structure. You can see these are the structure, right? These are the project structure. And it makes easier for developer to understand and collaborate on projects, right? Now we can move on plugin ecosystem. So what is the plugin? Why we use plugin, right? So in pom.xml, right? Pom.xml is divided into two parts. One is plugin and another one is dependencies. So dependencies we already have seen, and this plugin, right? These are the plugins. So plugins have different kind of configuration of the project. And why we use plugin? So basically plugin is used to compilation of the project, running of the project, packaging of the project, right? And basically it has all the configuration of the project. Plugins contains different kind of configuration, like we have Maven Surefire plugin, Maven compiler, right? So you can see Maven compiler is there, right? These are the plugins only, right? And it contains Maven Surefire plugin as well. I will explain you in upcoming sessions, right? So pom.xml is divided into two things. One is plugins and second one is dependencies. So dependencies help us to download the different tools, like download and update the jar files, right? And plugins help us to compile the project, to test the project, to run the project, right? Because plugins is having all the configuration of project, right? Now we have seen this plugins as well. Centralized repository, I already have explained you. When you create a Maven project, When you create a Maven project, it creates .m2 folder. There it store all the dependencies. Like I already have showed you. This is a M2 folder. This is called central repository, and this is also called local repository, where it store all the jar files and it downloaded from remote repository, right? So now we can see life cycle management, right? So what is the life cycle management? So Maven defines a set of build life cycle, for example, clean, validate, compile, test, right, etc., right? So this is the process. Like when you run the project, so it follow the process, right? It cleans, validate, compile, test, right? So as of now you might not understand, but in upcoming session when we work on it, then you will get it, right? Then you will understand, right? So that is the life cycle, that is the process. What is dependency scope? Maven allows you to define the scope of dependencies, like indicating whether they are needed for the compilation, testing, runtime, or other phases, right? And transcript dependency resolution. Maven automatically resolves and includes transcript dependencies, reducing the manual effort. So I hope you understand why we are going to use Maven project. So in upcoming session, I will explain you how to create Maven project. Thanks for watching this video.